just a couple notes about some stuff we have coming up. As many of you are probably aware, we have our upcoming live conference. This is going to be a conference focusing on both professional development and academia training. You'll have the option to do both. And we are going to have our keynote presenters are going to be Michael Frizzell, who's a former ICLCA president, Corey Hammond is an author, and both of them have extensive experience in the world of higher education. We are currently putting the schedule together for that. We have some great breakout sessions for you all. And if you are interested in presenting, we still have some slots open. But right now we're also taking registrations if you would just like to attend, and we are offering an early bird discounted rate on that. So I'm pasting that link in the chat where you can go if you are interested in learning more about this and potentially registering for our upcoming live event. And that's going to be October 14th through 15th in Orlando. That's going to be right near our company headquarters. And we are also pleased to announce our next keynote webinar. As a reminder, our keynote webinar series is a free webinar presentation. We do this once a month. We try to bring in different speakers to talk about different topics of interest to a higher education audience. Next month, it's going to be Nisha Abraham, who is going to be talking about assessing the effectiveness of learning support initiatives. So we know that with academia, you're gathering some great data there. And if you're ever unsure exactly how to use that data effectively, how to properly assess your learning support center, this is definitely the webinar for you. So again, this is a free webinar. This is going to be Thursday, June 6th at 1 o'clock Eastern. So I am pasting the link in the chat there if you'd like to sign up. And now once more, I know they've said this a couple of times, but I also know we've had a lot of people come in just the last couple of minutes. Today's webinar, today's presentation is going to focus on the Accudemia 10.0 update. And because we have so much included in this update, we are bringing in extra speakers for you. So today's presenters are going to be our support specialist, Garrett Effers, followed by our senior support specialist, Nick Armstrong, our other awesome support specialist, Justin Veerasammy, and finally our Business Development Manager, Chadd Blodgett. So I am going to go ahead and hand things over to them.
Beautiful, and thank you so much for that welcome introduction, Rachel, as always. So today, as Rachel said, we've done a lot of things in academia, so this update is a pretty substantial update. But one of the biggest things, in my opinion, visually at least, is we did a reorganization of our main navigational menu. Of course, over the years, if we've been adding more and more features to academia, we've noticed, that our menus are getting a little expansive, so we wanted to reorganize those and hopefully make it a little bit more intuitive for our clients. And of course, as you're seeing there, we also have a new Academia Messaging Center that we'll be going over here shortly. So to go ahead and start us off, we're just going to go over the main bar items and then we'll drop them down from there. So of course we have our home button and our quick button. These you should be familiar with. These have not changed. With your quick option, you have your quick sign-in station, a quick appointment creation, just a regular appointment or as an admin, and of course a quick way to submit a new ticket to the support Dropbox. As well, we have the data analytics tab there at the very end. This is a completely new item, and this is what's going to contain a lot of your reports, your email logs, your SMS logs, all relatively new features there. So to go ahead and get us started, we're going to go ahead and look at the centers tab here. And here you're going to notice this is going to be a lot of your center management tools. So this is going to include a lot of things like your session logs, your standby logs, your appointments, your virtual sign-in station, links and drop-in times are going to be under this tab, as well as your media checkout. Now, one thing you might have noticed already just looking at this menu, if you're more familiar with academia, is that class attendance disappeared. We have actually renamed this to SI attendance, supplemental instruction attendance. So same function, just a different name there for you. And our next tab, as you're seeing there, is going to be our campus tab. These are going to be all of your institutional level resources. So your outreach tools, your engagement boards, your Booksmart, your events registration, your campus compass, and of course, your support Dropbox and your referrals. As well, we have the administration tab. This is familiar from our last menu, but it's been reorganized. So we have our user management features there. This is going to include all your role group templates, your technical contacts. We also have your center management tools there as well. So that's going to include your restrictions, your surveys, your session assessments. And then the campus setup, this is going to be your locations, your courses, again, your campus compass, and your resources for reservations, as well as your terms and off times. And of course, we have our advanced option there that's going to contain all of your import export tools, as well as your control panel, which is going to take you to your settings page. Uh, and like I said, we have that data analytics tab. That's where your new SMS logs and email logs are going to be. As well, in this update, we have a new Accudemia messaging center. So if you're familiar with Accudemia in the 9.0 version, that was just a black bar at the bottom of your screen that you could use to send IMs through the system. Well, we gave this its own dedicated page now. So you have a Accudemia messaging center, which is going to allow you to connect not only via instant message, but also SMS text. And of course, these messages can be sent to everyone, just specific classes, specific groups of people. So a great outreach tool here. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass things on over to Nick, who's going to tell us about some of the new changes we made to our report screens.
Thanks, Garrett. Yep. So we have a few more things that we want to go over. One of the, I guess maybe second major ones are the reports modules got a redesign, as well as there's some other updates I want to talk about. Setting up your own mail server using Microsoft integration. We're going to also take a look at the new services screen that was added and talk a little bit briefly about the automatic cleanup of records on the back end. So let's get into it. So if you guys have ventured there to the reports, trying to get your end of semester reports, you may have noticed some of these things. You get to that nice new landing page, as well as like seeing that the menu now has not only the categories that we had before, but they've been kind of broken down into further subcategories to maybe help you find those a little quicker or easier using the search feature on that page. We still have things like scheduled reports, but we've also added a few new things like the ability to memorize and favorite reports. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look at that in our software. Here we go. So I'm logged in as an admin on my demo account here. And basically to get to it, this is right where the reports used to live. You can see we've got that expanded section with email and SMS logs, but we're going to go ahead and just select the first option of reports. And that's right under data analytics there. Once I get there, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so you can see more of it. On the left-hand side, you'll notice you still have the search, but instead of just listing all the reports, you're going to be able to kind of browse through them, look at the different categories that we have them in. And when you either search for one or you find one that you would like to actually run, maybe you want to run a summary report. I have other options here. I can memorize this report, favorite it. I can also, like I said before, schedule. But I still have all the same options, but we have a few new things in here, such as the report description that'll help you maybe decide whether this is the right report for you, as well as a sample report down in the bottom right here, and all your filters that you had previously as well. So, if this is one that I really like, and you can see I've actually already favorited it. So it has a little heart next to it in the menu one. And then also it's going to go into its own favorite section here. But to do that, I just click this little favorite up here. It turns that box red. Here, I'll just unfavorite it real quick. Okay, and it just said I removed it. And so this is the way it starts off, is actually white, and then you don't have that. And I'll go ahead and click it. So it's really simple. It's just to kind of like highlight the ones that you use frequently. And, you know, you can actually just go to that section as well. One of the other new features, that memorize ability, is, you know, once I have, maybe there's a particular report like this summary, I like it by service, and I always want it to show me like the charts, like, you know, so it looks really nice, like the picture down here. I can choose, you know, the time period. Let's say I do the current semester, so I can see it, you know, again, like for whatever that current semester is. And instead of the whole college, maybe I'm going to go ahead and select a center that I use that for the most. So I'm going to go ahead and set my center, and I've got all of my settings just the way I want it. I'm going to get the default, which is the PDF, but you do have other options as well. And at this point, I can go ahead and say memorize this report. And I'm going to give it a name. So maybe, you know, just say, what was it? I think service summary per semester. So once I have a name that I'm gonna be able to look at that and find that easy from, I'll go ahead and make it either private or public. So private means that this is a report that I just want to run myself. Public is one that I want to maybe share with other admins so they can run the same report. And even if you decide to make it private now, you can always make it public later. But I'm going to go ahead and make mine public so you can see that. It will show up for other admins as well. So I'll go ahead and save that. Okay, it says you've successfully memorized it. And it actually took me to all of my memorized reports. And the reason why is I'm the report owners of these, the ones that I've named. And I can either go back and delete the report if I don't like it. I can view it to go ahead and run that particular report. Or if I click on it, I can change whether it's private or public. So maybe there was a report I was working on and I needed to change that just so that I can work on it a little more before sending that out or sharing it with everyone there. So also, if I go back to the list, this is where I would actually access that after the fact. I have a my memorized report section, so I can manage the ones that I've created. And also on the left here, this is going to be not only my memorized reports, but also other reports that have been memorized and shared publicly across all the admins in the account. So it's pretty cool. And the search still works just as what you guys may have remembered. So if I'm looking for a particular report, you can see like class report. I can find, oh, there's one of my memorized reports that has that information. I've got some center reports, some supplemental instruction reports that deal with class. So I can still search that way as well. And if I go back to, let's see, we'll pull up this report here, let's say. I still have the ability to schedule. So maybe once I've memorized a report here, I could go ahead and schedule that and basically do all the things that we could do before, like schedule it every week, every month, however frequently I want to do that, and choose the recipients and everything as far as options. This other one is still available. We've had this before, is basically a share. This is really nice because I could actually use this to email somebody that's not necessarily in the system. So as long as I have their email address, this could be a stakeholder that's maybe outside of academia. I could go ahead and share that with maybe Dean or somebody else who's not necessarily in Academia Daily. So, and then of course we still have the run feature. So once you've set, you know, all your things, and like for instance, it did memorize like that I wanted it by service. To show the charts and the time periods, I'll go ahead and just run that report. And I should have the same reports that I'm used to. Now it will maybe take a little time to get used to it because like right here where the schedule reports button is used to be that. So like I know I caught myself clicking over there, but yeah, that's going to be your run button now. And that's pretty much it with the new reports. All right, moving on. We have our Microsoft integration for sending emails. So basically what this is allowing you to do is maybe have your students receive messages from emails that are more recognizable to them. So if you have an Outlook account or Office 365 account that has emails for maybe your center or like the college as a whole, you can actually connect that through the localization options in your account. And basically what you would do is configure that, click on that, and then connect with whatever that account is. So you would have to know the login for whatever that generic kind of email is for that center or the college as a whole. Click on it and approve it. And once you do, all the email will be sent using that email instead of the default, which is like no reply at academia.net. Um, and you can do this at the college level or the center level. So, it can be customized per center, and you don't have to go and change every email template. So this will overwrite the settings on the emails template as well. So if you had a custom reply to that you had in there, you don't have to worry about changing all those per email template. All right, and the next one is the new services screen. So originally we've always had the services, but they're kind of hidden in a way. So if I jump back over to academia here, you would go to administration, and it was centers and classrooms I think we had before. Now we have campus setup and locations. And you can still click on one of these locations. Like I think I have a center here that I use, Skills and Tutoring Center, and still see the services this way. But just to make it a little easier to get to under center management, we now have a services section. So in here, you'll be able to go ahead and see for a particular center or all the centers, depending on the way you're looking at this. Use this thing to narrow it down to your center. And I can click on the service and make any kind of adjustments that I see. If there's some services I'm maybe not using any longer, I can go ahead and inactivate them, either just clicking this little inactivate button or selecting whichever ones and inactivating them at the top. Okay, and then lastly, before I close off my segment, is we do have automatic cleanup of records that go for several new sections. So we have like the email logs, the SMS logs, as well as like our audit trail, where you can kind of see what's been changed in your system. These are only going to be stored for 90 days, so that way you pretty much have like the last semester of data if you're trying to resolve something. And they will say at the top usually to just kind of give you a secondary reminder. But that was something we added just so that it keeps the system nice and quick, and you have the data that you need when you need it. Okay. Well, that's all for me. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Justin Veerasammy, our support specialist, and he's going to talk about improvements and enhancements to the software.
All right, thank you, Nick. So yeah, I'm going to go over the improvements and enhancements that came with this Accudemia 10.0 update. There are a few new things that were added, as you can see there, just about 3 things that I'm going to touch on. So yeah, so the first thing that we're going to go over is going to be the sort by service option. So yeah, this sort by service was added to the manage center screen, which of course is under centers and manage center. There is a new filter for the sort by option, which is going to be toward that bottom left side of the screen. So of course, when you click sort by to expand that, there is going to be service and now service with reverse. And reverse is just going to mean it's going to be opposite of alphabetical order. So like a Z to A order. Um, all right. And so of course, this is just going to help you manage and access everything on that page a little bit easier. All right, so the next thing I'm going to go over is the new email templates relating to the support Dropbox. So there were 4 that were added that I have in that box right there. So it's going to be ticket status has changed, and that's going to go to students. We also have tutor was assigned on a ticket. there's the new comments on your assigned ticket and new comment on your ticket. So just like any existing email templates now, this is just something else that we added so you can get emails regarding that new feature that we added, the support Dropbox in previous updates. All right, now this is entirely new, which is going to be the emails log screen. And this is just going to keep a record of all emails sent through Accudemia or the integrated email service with Outlook. The next page that we have, I'm going to go over what it looks like, but just to touch on this page right here, there is a button toward the top right of the screen where you can send a test email, and this dialog box is going to come up. So right there in that kind of alert message, it says you're about to send yourself a test email. And it also says on there, it says the test email will be sent to test@demo.com. And that email address right there is the email that's tied to your specific account. So for mine, the reason why it says that is because that's what I had on there. But of course, for yours, it's going to be what you have. And it's going to be sent to the email address configured in the location that you can select from that drop-down box below. And if you click send, then you can get that test email just to preview what it would look like. And on the next page here, it's going to show, this is what that screen looks like under data analytics and email logs. So on the left side, we have our usual filters that we see on many other screens, such as appointments and manage center. So right here, we can see you can sort by the period, user, email, subject, and if it was sent successfully or error. And that's pretty much how it's also going to be across the page. So we have the name. You can also choose to have their ID there. It's going to say the date, to and from who it was sent to, and also that successful or if it was sent with an error. And if you click details, it's going to expand on that as well, just to give you some more information. And you can see that test email button at the top right. So when you click on that, that's going to open up that page that I showed you previously. All right, and we also have a new tutor permission for appointments. And so this is something that was asked for us to have. So now tutors are able to edit the presence of their own students' appointments for those that were scheduled. So this is going to be found in the control panel settings under appointments and the center level. And once you have that selected, you can choose to or you can see under that tutor section right there that it's going to say allow tutors to edit the student's presence for their appointments. And you're just going to want that checked because before this update, what you used to have to do would be have a tutor in the system and you would have to give them the system admin role and individually select that one permission you wanted them to have. So now with this, they don't have to be an admin and they can control this data right here. All right, and we also have some improvements to the pop-up forms that would take up about half the screen. So right there where that mouse icon is, and if you were to click off the page, it would close the window. And something that was asked of us is to implement an update where this would not close unless you specifically click the X, because if, let's say you're updating a user account profile and you're entering an ID, password, email, anything like that, if you accidentally clicked off, you'd have to re-enter all of that because it did not save the data. So with this new update, you do have to click that X at the top right corner to close any of these pages. Right, and we do have some buttons that were renamed in the system. So these both used to say event list, and now they correctly match what the function is for. So on the tutor schedule page, we do now have a tutor schedule list. So if you click on that, it's going to open the tutor schedule list showing the schedules for those tutors. And we also have an off times list. So that's going to be on the off times page under the administration tab. All right, and we do also have some improvements to the intake system. So with this update, if you click, once you get to the cast screen, which is going to be this blue screen here with the red heading for next in line and the dark blue for recently signed in, there's going to be an options button at the top right corner. And if you click on that, it's going to open this white dialog box that you see. And there is now an option to show the recently signed in list at the bottom or side of the screen. So this right here is what it looks like when it's side by side. And if it were to be below, you would just have that red header and then the blue would be right below that. So just a different way to landscape or display your data depending on the type of screen you have. All right, and the last thing I'm going to touch on is copying the tutor schedules to different days of the week, which is something that was also highly requested. So with this, if you're on the tutor schedule screen, there is a copy button. And if you click on that, that's when it opens this box right here. And we did add that check box right there where it says to another day of the week. So before you click on a day to copy from, right there where it says Monday through Sunday, that would not be displayed. But once you select the day, as I have here Tuesday, that's when it's going to generate that list. So you can see it goes from Monday to Wednesday because I have Tuesday selected. So if you were to select a different day, any day that's selected in that top one is going to be removed from the bottom because you're copying it to that day of the week. So if I wanted to, since I have Tuesday right here, if I selected Thursday, Friday, Saturday below and clicked accept on the tutor schedule, it's going to exactly duplicate that schedule for the day to those different days of the week. All right, so those are the improvements and enhancements to this update. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Chadd, who's going to talk about event tracking with IACU.
Great, thank you, Justin. So yes, I'm going to be talking about event tracking with our mobile app, IACU. So if you're not familiar, IACU is a staff-facing app that allows you to take attendance, whether it's for center attendance. It's been used a lot for taking attendance to SI sessions. And now we've been able to work with our events module so you'll be able to take attendance to events, workshops, or seminars. So we created the integration with the events module. So now you're going to be able to scan student IDs into those events. So when students get to your in-person events, workshops, seminars, you're going to be able to use the camera on your own, Apple device to scan their IDs, or you can also manually enter students into the event as well, which we'll kind of take a look at when we get into the app itself. Now, a couple of reasons why you might use IACU is one, you might want an app that's more mobile to take attendance. So maybe you're not in the center, maybe you're somewhere else, your SI sessions in the classroom, or obviously your events, you may want more than a computer sign-in station. So now you can use your mobile device, but also there's no need for Wi-Fi or a connection to track attendance. So your typical computer kiosk requires some type of internet connection to track attendance. The app itself doesn't, so you can track your attendance and it stores it on the device until you do get back into a Wi-Fi or some type of connection. Also, right through the app, which we'll look at, you're going to be able to take look at your attendance right through the app itself. So we're actually going to go into the Accudemia system really quick before we get into the app. Because if you're not familiar with the events, I'm going to kind of walk you through that really quick. So under campus, if we go to events registration, this is where you're going to be able to manage those events. So we'll just go ahead and we'll look at this event that I already created. We'll go ahead and edit it. Now, one thing you can do is, for one, give it a category. So you can actually label it workshop, event, or seminar. There's really not a difference in the functionality of the different categories in Accudemia, but it does allow you to filter if you're trying to run a report. Let's say you run a lot of events, but you do have seminars, ones that you name event or workshop. It's going to allow you to find them quicker and filter for whether you want to see all the events, workshops, or all the seminars. You'll then obviously be able to give the event a name, choose the location, the event date and time itself. If you want to open this up to registration, you can allow your students to register online. So you can give a registration deadline as well as how long the event is going to be. So I just put it's going to be an hour starting from 1:30 today. We can say who the presenter is. You can even give it an attendee limit, as well as details for your event. Students will see the details when they're looking at the various workshops and seminars you're offering and registering. Now you can allow students to register to your event, but also allow those who didn't register to still check in at the event as well. So that's what this checkbox here is. So you can allow them to register and say, I only want those who registered to be able to come. Or I can allow students to register to kind of give me an idea of how many I plan to come to the event, while still allowing students who just walk in to go in and still track their attendance. And so if I click off here, here's the one event that I created. I also have past events that I've created, so I can look at those as well. You can search or filter by location. You can also filter by the various categories, as I mentioned earlier, and say, oh, I don't want to see events, or I don't want to see we include past ones, or only want to see those that I determined were workshops or seminars. And even canceled events are something that we can take a look at. I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint really quick. is I'm going to show you what the app looks like. It's going to take me a second. I'm going to try to connect my phone so you can see what that new events module looks like. And I may walk you through other parts of IACU also in case you're not familiar with it, you've never seen it before. Put my phone here. All right, here we go. So I just signed into the app as an administrator. And you see we have track attendance. I can view the center attendance, view our SI attendance, manage events. We can sync with Accudemia. So I'll start off with the tracking of attendance to our center or for SI sessions. So I'll just click on the track attendance first. And you see it actually will ask me, okay, do you want to track attendance to your center or is this for SI? I'm just going to click on center attendance just to kind of give you an idea of what that would look like. I'm just going to choose normal for this, and then I'm going to choose my location. So I'm an admin, so I have access to multiple locations within Accudemia, multiple centers. I'm going to choose my Student Success Center. I'll just do manual because I don't have an ID that I'm going to scan in this case, but I'm going to click manual, and I'm going to enter the student's ID. Click OK. And then it's going to take me through just like our walk-ins, our walk-in process, right? We choose they go to the location, they sign in, they scan or swipe, and then we're going to ask them, okay, well, which service, which course, who's your instructor, and we're going to sign in the student, which in this case was Chris. So we can actually do center attendance through IACU. Same thing with your class attendance, and then you can also view your attendance. I can view like who's currently signed in, one of the Student Success Center, which is Chris, who we just signed in, or I can actually run attendance log report as well. The class is very similar. I can go ahead and, again, if I'm doing an SI session, I can actually scan in students that are coming to an SI session. Now, the reason why we wanted to show this today was for the manage event section here. So once I click on manage events, I get two options. I can scan attendees into the event, or I can view the attendance log. We're going to first go ahead and scan, and then it's going to pull up any current active events you have going on right now. So I have these two. We're going to choose the time management workshop for now. It's going to open up my camera, and I'm going to be able to scan the student's ID. And it says, okay, we just signed in McLovin into the time management workshop. And I can go and I can start scanning the next student. So it's a continual scan to sign my students into the event, workshop, or seminar. Now, as I go back, we can also now view attendance log. And we can see, well, for time management workshop, we have one attendee that was scanned in. And if we view this, it kind of gives us a breakdown. One attendee, which workshop, what was the category, which location, the event date, and who the presenter is. Okay. And with that, that's actually that's it for the event tracking with IACU, and I'm going to give it back over to Rachel.
All right, great job, everyone. Thank you so much. So we're now going to jump into Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, we'll take questions about the updates first. And also if you have any questions in general about Accudemia, we can take them. We can take those as well. Does anybody have the link? Anybody on my panel have the link to the survey handy so we can put that in the chat? And in the meantime, while we're waiting for someone to grab that. If I know that we had one question that Nick answered in chat, but just for the sake of having it on the recording, Nick, are you able to answer Amber's question about how do you get to the screen for Microsoft integration or for the sent email?
Yeah, thanks for that. I just want to show you in this software as well. But yeah, so it's going to be under administration and the control panel. This section was always there. Maybe you don't remember because it's like one of those things you don't go to after you first set up, but it's a localization option. So this deals with time zone, language, and other options. I can choose now. This wasn't like this before. It used to only be at college level setting, but I can go in and choose like, individual centers now. And the reason why is when I view those settings, we now have this external Microsoft mail server. And basically, for each center, I could go ahead and connect a Microsoft Mail account, and it's pretty much just like what I was showing. You know, basically you would click here and get over to Microsoft and connect one of your Microsoft accounts. If you guys have like a, you know, an email that's used for that center, maybe it'll look better that the mail are coming directly from an account that you know, they might be used to with maybe a .edu at the end of it instead of no reply at academia.net. So that's the idea for that. And again, that was administration, control panel, and localization options. Got like a little map in the website settings. And if you have any other questions, you can type them in the chat. We can also unmute. Let's see, for scanning into events on the app. If a student shows up for a workshop that has started without an appointment, then can they only be entered in manually? Trying to figure that one out. Catherine, Kathy, did you want to unmute and just kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
So we're talking about having workshops that are like in person. And
Okay.
So if one has already started and somebody would come in, it would be way easier to scan than like to try and find out their class and their teacher, because surprisingly a lot of them don't know who their teacher is. So I was just curious
Oh, okay.
how
Yeah.
that would work.
It'll actually work similar to like when they come in for an appointment at a kiosk. So I don't know if you're familiar with appointments at the kiosk, but like when the student signs in, like it says like, hey, I noticed, you know, you're signing in and it's close to the start time of your appointment. You chose blah, 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 blah. So if they've registered for an event, because this is like a new module, so it doesn't use the appointments exactly, but under campus and events here. So if
Okay.
they've signed up for the event, so they're actually tracking it through that event. So yeah, you would set that mobile device to say, okay, I'm tracking this event, and then they would just swipe in, and it would be basically kind of like based on like if you allowed unregistered attendees or registered
Oh,
only.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good to know.
But yeah, so you don't have to have them pick anything. It's just like boom, scans them right in, whether they're registered or not, depending on your setting that you put there. So.
Yep, it looks like we don't have any more questions. So again, if anybody does have any questions, you can feel free to submit that to support@academia.com. And we thank everybody for joining us today, and have a great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.